All right, welcome back to the One Patrol 2 Experience Radio Show live here at Philly Hot Radio on the One Patrol 2 Facebook page, also Instagram Live, Lavon 1021. My first guest is here for today. Her name is, say your name? Saudamani Gray, because I always get your name right. I always get your name wrong. Pronounce it wrong. So, Saudamani Gray. So, she's an awesome woman and good supporter of Pat the Greatest over the years. I'm going to read her bio real quick. It says she is a founder and CEO of Tiny Cakes Bakery. Supplies cakes and desserts for all occasions and events. Made with organic and all natural ingredients. Vegan and diabetes welcomed. Tiny Cakes is a small business, family business that was created in April 2011. About 10 years. Wow.
Well, yeah.
Wow. Based out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, it was a vision that was formed by Saudamani Gray. I want to make sure I get his name right. Saudamani Gray has her big has been always been passion for her, and fame has been passed down from generation to generation. Tiny Cakes makes cakes and desserts designed from old-fashioned recipes and a mixture of modern flavors, and good quality products. Currently, the Tiny Cakes desserts have been distributed to consumers by personal orders for birthdays, events, etc. However, the main job of the business is to build relationships and acquire distribution contracts with well-established businesses for the sole purpose of mass-producing Tiny Cakes products. Ultimately, Tiny Cakes will become a storefront, family-owned business in order to leave a long-lasting legacy for our future generations. So, Thank you so much. So, how you doing today? How you feeling?
Good morning. I'm doing great.
That's wonderful.
Definitely blessed.
Amen. So, a lot has happened. So our theme for this month has been talking about COVID-19 1 year later, since some week has been shut down. So I want to ask you first question before we get to you. How do you feel? What has COVID-19 taught you, and what you have learned from it this past year? I know a lot has happened from what you've seen. So.
This is where to start. So this past year, it's been, I don't know, it's been a whirlwind, but a good one. If anybody knows me, of course, they know that before COVID hit, I was on go, like super speed, fast, and you know what I mean? I was everywhere in Philadelphia, going to events, constantly just, nonstop. I think COVID slowed me down, but it was a good thing. It made me it gave me time to reflect about what direction I was going in. Mm-hmm. I always, had a clear vision, but I think it kind of made me not feel like I was on a hamster wheel, like really, that it made me strategically like, okay, I have time to do this now, where I felt like I was racing to do that. It really slowed the process down where it was like, okay, I have time now. Mm-hmm. I have time to strategically plan, my next steps, where I see the business going. It taught me patience as well. I know a lot of businesses failed during this time, and by the grace of God, mine is still here.
Amen.
My business did cut down a lot. It still is not, 100%, especially when it comes to doing events. Within those first couple of months, I had over, 100% of my events canceled. So it was, I was getting emails and calls left and right, like it's canceled until further notice, So at first I was a little scared. I was like, oh my God, everything I worked for is about to go down the drain. But what I remembered is that God has never done me wrong.
Amen.
And definitely with this business, in times where I thought I wasn't even know how I was going to, get my next meal, he facilitated that and, pulled me through. So I said, it's got to be a plan.
Yes.
And I'm not going to question it. So I'm just going to listen to, what he's telling me inside, be patient, and I know that he's going to pull me through. Like, I know he didn't bring me this far to fulfillment.
Right.
Like this,
Right.
this is not going to be the end. So I just pulled through. Like my regular clientele base has really kept me afloat. Where at first they were scared and nervous about ordering, from I guess anybody. People were really on shutdown quarantine. But I just went and got extra certificates for Surf Safe, for COVID training, and all that stuff like that. There wasn't really too much any difference, but just extra precautions to put in place and stuff or whatever. With the mask wearing and extra sanitizing things and stuff like that. So I think that brought a lot of the clientele to feel like they can trust me, and it made them start ordering again for me. So my regular clientele base has constantly increased during this time, and I had my regular clientele, the faithful clients that have never stopped ordering from me. So that's definitely been a blessing.
Wow, amen, amen. So that's you said something that the God didn't bring you as far to lead you down now. So then he kept you, and
Yes.
And also made your life very happy to you as well. We get to that later. So doing COVID just like me. So can you tell us who was Saudamani Gray from the beginning? Who was she in the beginning growing up?
Oh, Saudamani.
See, I can't. So I'm telling you,
Call me Sue for short.
Sue. Okay, all right.
Yeah. Saudamani. Oh, who was she from the beginning?
Yeah,
from the little girl.
Mm-hmm.
I was always real quiet and reserved, but very creative. I have a background in music. So I was classically trained at Saudamani Music School for piano, and I also went to Creative Performing Arts High School for piano and vocal minor. So I always had that creative gene. I come from a very musical family, and also just artistic family. I have artists in my family. My sons are very skilled in art. My youngest son created one of my logos for my nonprofit. So we just have a creative family, period. And my mom taught me, and the foundation of baking. So even though I was doing more musical things and stuff like that, my mother's passion, she also has a background in music, and she was a master violinist and pianist and stuff like that, but she also had a passion for cooking and baking and stuff like that, and passing those recipes on to me because I took a creative interest in that and stuff. So I used to be in the kitchen with her as young as 5 years old. And so it was always a passion of mine, but I just did it more for my family and friends. I was always throwing gatherings and stuff at my house, and bringing my family together with food and and love. So that's the background of me.
So what made you go forward with starting a business, Tiny Cakes?
Well, originally it was about 10 years ago, around 2011. I just knew I always been more of a like an independent person, and I've done corporate work. I've been in healthcare, and I just didn't feel fulfilled. I knew something wasn't right, something was missing, and I'm like, okay, well, let me go back to corporate. Now I don't want to do healthcare anymore. Let me go back to corporate. Maybe that's it. And so I tried to go back to corporate work again, and I was like, it's still not it. I mean, I excel at all those things and stuff, but I just didn't feel like I wanted to get out of bed every day to go do that. So I told my mother, I was like, why don't we just start a business? We were doing it already on the side for families, making cakes and stuff like that. Why don't we just, start a business or something, to leave a legacy for our children, or at least for my children, your grandchildren, and stuff, and just for our family. And so, at first she wasn't really on board, and I was like, kind of convinced her to do it, and so we tried. We attempted to do the business for a couple years, but ultimately she didn't want to go in the direction that I wanted to. She had more. She's more traditional with the 9 to 5 and wanted to, set herself up for retirement. And she's older than me, so I was just like, to me, it's not a hobby. I think this is what I really want to do.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I ended up branching out on my own after like 2 to 3 years of doing the baking business with her, and it was the best decision of my life. And the first year, I kind of just like did research, like real in-depth research about the baking market. Built my recipes, did testing and all that stuff. Had my kids testing my products, friends, family, doing like focus groups, and really honing my recipes because I wanted it to be right. I wanted it to be perfect. So, I was taking that constructive criticism and, oh, this is dry, this is too this, and this is too that. And I, blended everything together and decided, now I'm ready. And so I started Tiny Cakes Bakery.
Right. So you about going 10 years of your business.
Mm-hmm.
What has kept you going? Because there are a lot of businesses that started out, they stopped doing it and not doing it. What has made you kept going in the midst of what's been going on and COVID? But even before that, what has been that driving force to keep going, to keep doing this?
Number one reason is God.
Mm-hmm.
I prayed to him that I wanted something that gave me fulfillment. I just was lacking that. I was a mother full time, and my kids were getting older, and I was like, I just want something for me. I want something that gives me that fulfillment to want to get out of bed and gives me enjoyment every single day. So, and also the second reason is that it's not a job to me. I love what I do.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm baking and stuff, people wonder what I'm doing and stuff. People try to contact me all throughout the day, and I'm like, I'm using my hands. I'm in there dancing while I'm baking. I'm singing. It doesn't feel like work to me. I love creating something beautiful that somebody else is going to think is beautiful and that it can make their day, a little bit more special.
Wow, that's a good answer. So where do you see Tiny Cakes in the next 5 or 10 years?
Oh, that's a good question, and where I'm leading in that direction. Hopefully once things are open. Before COVID hit, I was in the process of actually getting ready to start the process of opening my storefront.
All right, wonderful.
But I think God protected me because if I just would have went ahead, it probably would have failed by now. I was right there. We're going through the grants and all that stuff like that and everything and stuff like that. And the programs, small business programs and all that stuff like that. And so I completed all that. But, when COVID hit, it just kind of slowed me down. Like, should I continue or should I just put things on hold? Maybe it's not the best time.
Right.
And I think it just wasn't the best time because you see people that put everything they had, all their lives into their business, and they're just not here no more. And they're never opening back up. And who knows what what their life looks like now. And I put everything I had into my business, like 401k, savings, all that stuff. If I was willing to put all that in there, I would have lost everything.
Right.
Everything I worked for. So, with putting that on hold this past year, it did give me the opportunity to start something new, which was also another passion of mine, was working with children. So, me and my fiance, who's also my coordinator, we started Tiny Bakers, which is a nonprofit organization that teaches young youth how to make desserts. So, or to have interest in the culinary, field, that want to start early, like I did, or don't really have somebody to hone that craft in them because they're not into cooking and stuff like that. So, I'm giving the people, the children, an opportunity within the community, you know, to stay out of trouble, you know, to do something positive, you know. So that was definitely a blessing. So where something else was put on hold, you know, something else bloomed. So I plan, and within the next 5 to 10 years, next year is the goal actually to finally get my storefront open. So I'm in the process of doing that, and I see myself in the next 5 to 10 years having a culinary school and also maybe a TV show.
All right. So it gets funny because you talk about the school thing. I thought about King M. I was like, maybe we should do something for the youth. In terms, you're already doing it. So do like a school for the kids to do culinary, because a lot of times the kids are home, you know. So they at school all day. They need something else to do, so they get them to use their hands. So I think what you're doing is it's really an awesome thing. Doing tiny bakers, I think. That's a great thing. And plus, now everybody in the summer, now a lot of things are being opened up no more.
Right.
You could do like a summer academy or something like that for kids, and then had them launch their own business, had that big launch, and they had the community come out and support them. You know, that's the idea. That's what but you mentioned about your fiance. Yeah. So how did y'all meet? And I know you got engaged recently, and I called it. So how that came about?
Well, he has a twin brother, Walter Brown, Wesley Brown. Sorry,
okay.
I'm getting them mixed up.
Right.
I already had a business relationship with him for the last few years, like 3 to 4 years. He's done a lot of work just on my promo commercials, photo shoots, and stuff for different projects that I've had. And I was being honored for his nonprofit, which has a calendar event called the Women's Entrepreneur Calendar. And so I was being honored for the 3rd year in a row in the calendar, and so that was December of 2019. And so that's where I met Walter. We briefly spoke. It just wasn't even anything that. It was just in passing. We talked about some food, some meatballs that that was on the table, and I was kind of like just in my own zone and stuff like that. And he contacted me like the next day or 2 days later via Facebook, and was like, "Hey, I can't stop thinking about you." I'm like, "What? Me?" At that time, I was like, I don't even want to be bothered by nobody. I've just been so focused and stuff like that. And I was like, I want to take you out on a date. And I was like, I got to think about this. And, because I already had a business relationship with his brother, there wasn't anything conflicting with that and stuff
totally
like that.
Totally understandable,
Yeah, so I even asked Wesley, do you mind if I go and do it? I don't care. And stuff. And I really thought about it. And my daughter was like, well, didn't you say you want to find love? And I was just like, all right, I'll go. And it was the best decision of my life. And we've been together ever since. And we've been together every single day.
Wow, that's wonderful. Let's see. You never know. Like you never know. Sometimes you ask something that God gives it to you. You gotta embrace it. And
he also wanted to encourage me to start the nonprofit.
Right.
I thought it was gonna be something I would be doing later on, a couple years down the line. And he was like, "Well, since you're not really doing as much as you used to, why don't we start the nonprofit?" And so he's really backed me with that and stuff, and helped fund, the startup costs and all that stuff, get the equipment and everything. Like, he was really gung ho and really supported me with that.
That's wonderful, and when I saw the videos and stuff when you post, and I was like, this is Black Love, and like that's one of the things. I found Black Love this year. I was like, having me, I shut down too. It shut me down, but I met my wife. Yeah. So because
congratulations to you.
Yeah, I know.
You got engaged like right before I did.
Yeah, I know. That's crazy. And I called her. I was like, y'all can get engaged. Something gonna happen here. Like,
I said, what? Your words to God's ears. That's what I said.
Yeah, I said I felt it was a good match. Yeah, I saw how much happy you were, how much more at peace you were. He felt like it inspired you. You felt it jumped from joy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he did bring like peace and calmness.
Yeah, that's very important. So we're out of time because of that guest. So where people can find you for more information about your Tiny Cakes. Also, you're an author as well. You're an author. So where people can find you for more information about about the Tiny Bakers Academy for your youth. So.
Okay. Oh, so yes, you mentioned that I'm an author as well. Yeah, I wear many hats. So, but stay tuned for The Rebirth of Love, Volume 2. If anybody knows that I wrote a poetry book about 1.5 years ago about just some of the trials and tribulations that I've been through in the past, and hopefully it's a poetry book, and it was to give awareness about some of the things that women have, can go through, like abuse and things, challenges with motherhood, and just a whole different things in life. And so that's pretty much what the first book was about, and it was about overcoming those adversities to be the person I am now. So Volume 2 will be coming out probably by the end of this year. It's kind of like a continuation of where I am now, how I blossomed, how I found my happy again, and love. So yeah, look out for Rebirth of Love Volume 2. And Tiny Cakes, you can find me everywhere. You can Google Tiny Cakes and I'll pop up all over the place. I'm on Instagram, Tiny Cakes _36. I'm on Facebook business page, Tiny Cakes Bakery, my regular page. I'm everywhere. And for Tiny Bakers, I'm on Instagram for that handle is Tiny Bakers PHL. And I also have a business page for that on Facebook, which is Tiny Bakers PHL as well. So you can inquire if you have children or they're interested in the culinary field, or just love to bake, or just love to cook. You can, inquire to see if they, something they would really like to do. I'm taking ages from 5 to 13 years old. As the program progresses, I'm gonna go into more of teenagers. At a more advanced level, but right now we're trying to start the smaller kids.
Wonderful. So,
yes.
Saudamani, is that right? Is that right?
Close.
Oh,
Saudamani.
Saudamani Gray, thank you so much for being a guest on our show. We're gonna talk off clip about how we can help you get more kids in the program. So I had an idea in my head that came in my head just now. Okay. For those who joined us, Mike, thank you for joining us. Natalie. Queen from New York, Kevon, Stevens, Lydia, Miss Nichols. So for those who are thank you for joining us, Francis, tune in. We'll be back in 5 minutes. So we have our next guest, Miss Navon Nichols on the studio. So tune in for that. You know her. Please join us right now in about 5 minutes. So we show you a little bit. Thank you so much for supporting us, and thank you for joining us on this Saturday. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you everybody for tuning in.